I was wrong. Yesterday I reported about the blue screen of death video and the blue screen of death day, and I jumped into the conclusion it must have been a Microsoft update because so many computers were affected. But in fact, I was completely wrong. I was blaming Microsoft, but I should have blamed CrowdStrike that actually is the culprit. But hear me out. So what has happened? Yeah, actually you know about the blue screen of death, and you know me reporting about it being an issue of Microsoft and a Windows update that caused it. Actually, in fact, it was CrowdStrike, a software that the most manufacturers, even for critical infrastructure, are using as an antivirus kind of scanner. Let's say it like this, like Norton antivirus that you might have known in the past, or other antivirus software that is known. And companies are relying on this software from CrowdStrike, and this is the one that's actually the culprit. But let me go into more technicalities here right now. So let's sit down, because we have to talk a little bit about the technicalities of this. So what we have here is an antivirus program. In order for the antivirus program to scan everything on your hard drive, it needs like better privileges than a normal software, especially as it needs to scan all the files that go in and out of your system, not only the files that you have lying on your hard drive, but also files that is attached to email and that tries to like sneak into your operating system. And for this, what CrowdStrike does is they have a little component that is sitting not in the user space where all your applications are sitting, but rather in the kernel or kernel space, or in the private Windows kind of space where your drivers are sitting, like the driver for your graphics card. If your graphics card driver is not working, then you get a blue screen, or other drivers for sound cards, network cards, and so on. So they're sitting up here in the kernel space, which is like it says, up to the core of the system. So if something in the kernel space fails, you get a blue screen of death. You don't get like a normal error or program crashing screen. And this is where the component of CrowdStrike was actually sitting, and that has that issue. And there were some reports, people rebooting a few times. I could not imagine that this will help. Maybe eventually, because there was a buffer overflow issue. So simple programming mistake that you usually do in not so safe programming languages like C++, where C++ is a bit more safer than C for sure, where there was an overflow of a buffer, and this causes this issue. So the simple solution was removing this one component, this one driver that sits in the kernel space, and then the system would boot up normally. I hope I made it understandable for people that are in the tech. I know I'm trying to make it easier. And for those people who are not so much into the tech. So I was blaming wrongly Microsoft for causing this issue, but actually it is not Microsoft, it's CrowdStrike that caused this issue by pushing out an update that they did not really check out. Of course, one could say that all the other points that I made of diversity and not having a diverse operating system landscape is also like contributing to this issue there. And diversity also not only this, but also more maybe in the space of antivirus application and security applications that you have on your computer, because there are only a handful that are doing the security kind of things. So this was one of a big mistake, a bit blubber, because I just like listening to normal media and television stations that were talking about it instead of like reading maybe a bit more into it, what was going on. I knew that they probably put something into the kernel space, otherwise it would not give a blue screen of death, but I was not sure that, I was not even aware that it is a third-party application, because so many companies were affected around the globe. So it's not a Microsoft issue. But what could Microsoft do in this regard? And this is quite something interesting here, that a new point that I will show you right now that might work in the future. And this is a bit of a more theoretical kind of thing, so you can write down in the comment section what do you think about my opinion here. So my opinion is that Microsoft has this issue. It's like a design thing that you have to have a software component in kernel space if you want to have like the full protection there. So this is the security that CrowdStrike is trying to provide there against certain attacks. But how could Microsoft prevent issues like this, like the blue screen of death appearing all the time? There is, of course, the possibility, and this is quite interesting, that many people don't know, of a fail-safe Windows mode. So you can just simply boot up your Windows in a fail-safe mode. My idea for this kind of thing for Microsoft would be, if the computer is, and Microsoft can definitely track this, booting up, running into a blue screen of death immediately, and you try to boot it like, let's say 3 or 4 times, and it's resulting in this blue screen of death, maybe have like a timer set that says, okay, it rebooted a few times, never booted up normally, just in the screen of death. Just write a little bit there onto the drive to next time boot it up into safe mode, which allows you to remove this one component. Would be quite cool if Microsoft could also add a mechanism that figures out which of those, because they can apparently get like an error report that has at least like a little bit of information which device driver is causing this. Maybe even isolate this device driver and saying this is causing a blue screen of death. Next time you boot up, we disable this. And then you have to agree, and then afterwards it will be disabled or put into quarantine or something like this, so you don't run into those issues again. So that would be a very very easy thing to do, maybe, that Microsoft could do. I imagine or remember that smartphones and tablets like my Huawei MatePad was able to do this when I had like some faulty files on the file system, that it, after a few times rebooting, didn't boot up normally. It was going into a fail-safe mode and then isolated this bit and pieces there, repaired all the rest, and I could boot up normally without losing any of my data and configurations, which is quite cool. So I could imagine Microsoft being able maybe to do something similar, but you be the judge. Write down in the comment section what do you think about this. So this is everything for this short little video. I know I made a big blunder there by reporting that Microsoft did the issue. I'm sorry for that, and all the people that were like commenting in the comment section, yes, you are right, I should have like thought a little bit more and not only like rush out to do the video, but maybe also take a look at what really was causing the issue there. It's not a Microsoft issue, it's an issue of CrowdStrike that pushed out an update that they didn't really test apparently. So that's it for this short little video. Hope you enjoyed it anyway. And of course, the comment section is open for discussion. So let's comment and discuss stuff there. Until the next time, bye.